All right, you ready? We're going to stand with our red songbook, and we're going to start off with number... maybe I'll change it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm all yours.
Seems like, whoa, it's against the rules. 294. 294. What is this, an arrow? Don't anybody get lost. What are you turning the page for, Roman? Why are you turning the page? 295. He's over there. I like the fact that he leads somebody like me. How about 296 for our last Sunday school song? 296. All the way my Savior leads me.
Dismissed to Sunday school. Those that are staying here, turn to 1 Peter chapter 3. All right, I'm continuing on my series, Unapologetics, meaning some doctrines that the Bible teaches are not popular nowadays and very much opposed by our modern way of thinking. And sometimes these doctrines can make you very unpopular if you at all defend them. And so many Christians just don't defend them anymore. Quite often Christians just completely avoid them, won't talk about them. The Bible's doctrines go down that road. We're going to stick with what the Bible says, and we're willing to explain it the best we can, but there's going to be a point where explaining is not going to solve the problem, because it's really not a matter of understanding, it's a matter of submission. And since God doesn't apologize for these doctrines, well, then we're not going to apologize either. That's why I call it unapologetics. Now, let's read 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7. I'm dealing with the not inferior in mental, subordinates women to men in three realms: in society in general, in the family, and in the church. And we're going to try to answer that this morning. I'm going to have to be brutally concise, because I don't want to, this is my last Sunday of Sunday school for a while, and I don't want to make it bridge over, so I'm going to try to get to the point, which means start reading. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and distinguish that from the oppression of women and the natural disadvantages that women have. And I have talked to people. I mean, hear what it says. It says right here, the wife is the weaker vessel. Now, I have talked to women, and I'm not trying to disrespect them in any way, but they have told me that women are not weaker than men. And I've had arguments with reasonable people. I mean, these seem to be reasonable people, and they say, well, no, women live longer. And throughout history, everybody's known women are generally weaker than men. Now, there might be some woman that could crush you, stomp on you, and sit on you, but most women are weaker than most men. Most wives are weaker than their corresponding husbands. This is just the normal way God made us. And I want you to know, I have dealt with oppression of women in Mexico especially, probably here too, but in Mexico I've dealt with a lot of men who had this mental disease called machismo, where it's a male domination thing where they think that if they can smack their woman around, they are something else. That is not at all why God made women weaker than men. God did not make women weaker than men so men could beat them up. God did make women weaker than men so that women cannot beat up their husbands. Now, that is actually the truth. God doesn't want a man to be intimidated by his wife. He wants a man to be able to make a decision and not be intimidated by his wife. And that has actually happened. That's the way it is in nature. But it's not the same thing as oppression, and that's not the same thing as subordination. There's a difference. And so just consider that. I want you to know, for example, that in any other kind of society, not our modern industrialized, technologically advanced society, women and men are very, very similar as to what they can do. I mean, I remember back when cars did not have power brakes or automatic transmission, and women had a really hard time driving cars. Just do